Hello guys and welcome to the next video. Now we're going to be discussing the spread operator. So spread operator and the rest operator kinda go hand in hand. Actually they're written the same, but where you use them pretty much dictates whether you're using rest operator or you're using the spread operator. So to get started, let's actually think of an interesting scenario. Let's say that we're building software and we want to go multi-platform, so we need a dedicated team for the mobile, dedicated team for the desktop, and dedicated team for the web. So let's say that we have three arrays of all the developers that are working on that software, split by the environment that they're building the application for. So let's create three arrays. So let's say const mobile team is going to be composed of John and say John and Ben. We will also have a desktop team, which is going to be composed of Elsa and say Beth. And we will also have web team that's going to be composed of Nick and Brittany. Okay, now our task is to create like one huge array containing all the current developers on this app. So we want array of people working on this app across the teams. So this is the thing that we're after. So now if you are familiar with the concat method, we can do that using that. So whenever you create array, it has a built-in concat function in which if you pass another array, it will actually combine those two and produce a new array containing both the values of the both arrays. So we could do something like, let's say we want to join a mobile team concat with desktop team, like this, and we can store the results in like all developers, like this. And let's see what's inside of the all developers. I'm using Node, by the way, as in pretty much all my videos, but as you're probably already aware, you can use this code in the JS bin or any other site like that one. So now we can start this. So I'm going to type the file name, and as you can see, we get all developers. Right now we have combined the mobile team and desktop team. So we still don't get the web team, but we can also do that. We can combine desktop team with the web team over here, like this. And if I try this once again, now we see all the developers. So we've been able to solve this problem, but I'm going to show you how you can do this using the spread operator. So for now, let me comment out this line of code and simply write again all developers. But this time we want to create a new array like this, and inside of this array we want to use the spread operator, which is again the same notation. So we still type dot dot dot, just this time we didn't type that inside of our function like where the parameters are declared, but elsewhere, and that's what makes this a spread and not the rest operator. So now if I type three dots followed by the say mobile team over here, then I can also type the three dots and say the desktop team, and then I can also type the three dots and say the web team. And now if we check what is actually stored in these all developers, we will see that we will get the same results. So what is happening is the spread operator pretty much takes the array that is contained in this variable, and then it pulls it out and flattens it. So if I didn't use the spread operator here, what will happen actually is that we will have like three different arrays within this big array. So as you can see, we get still all the values, but they're not like flattened, they're not like on the same layer, so to speak. They are in each of their arrays. So the spread operator takes care of that for us, and then we end up with a single array containing all the values. Like we typed earlier. Okay, so that is one thing. Now of course you can use concats. They work the same. The reason why spread operator is there is for like once you're used to it, it's kind of faster to use it, and also plus like using spread operator, you can add some developers to this list. Like if you didn't use this and you used concats, it wouldn't be as easy to say add mark in. But if we are using the spread operator, we can simply go here and add mark manually, and then if we save this and rerun this once again, we'll see that we got all the developers plus this mark guy over here. So now I'm going to create one example that is going to combine both the REST and the spread operators. So if you're watching this video before watching the REST operator one, please go back and watch that, because otherwise this example wouldn't be really clear, I think. Okay, so now let's create a function that is supposed to build a team. Okay, and when I say build a team, it means that we need to provide people for that team, and that function will auto assign like a supervisor to that team. So let's call it function build a team, like that. And that function expects members pretty much, or developers. So developers, but we don't know how many of them we will send. We can send like one guy, we can send 20 people. So we are going to use the REST operator that you got introduced in the last video for that will turn like a list of developers into an array for us. Okay, and then we will do something with it. So just for now, let me simply console log these developers, so that we can see what this REST operator did for us, and so that you can refresh your memory on that. So if I called build a team now, and let's say I provide John, I provide Ben, and I provide Nick, for example. Let's simply see what this console.log statement returns back to us. For now also I can pretty much console.log this so we don't get confused. Okay, so if I run this now, we see that this REST operator actually turned these three developers into an array, which is one step in the direction that we want to go. So now we want to assign that supervisor, and how can we do that? Well, we first need to check whether he is actually in this list. If he is, we don't want to just blindly like duplicate, but only in the scenario in which he didn't get sent to this function, we want to assign him. So let's say that that supervisor is called Mark, and then we want to check whether the developers contains Mark. So we can use index of, and then type the Mark value. And if that is less than 0, meaning if that doesn't exist in that array, we want to return new array, okay, composed of the current developers that we sent. So right now we are going to use the spread operator like we used here to actually turn that array into a list of values. So like this, developers. And then we also want to assign that Mark guy, like this. Otherwise, if the Mark is already in there, we just want to return developers as they are. So now if I or actually I save that like composed team, and I console.log the content of composed team over here. Let's see what happens. So now if I run this, we see that the compose theme is actually made of John, Ben, Nick and Mark this time, but if I was to put Mark here somewhere and I call this function once again, we should see the same result, and that Mark hasn't been just blindly added twice, but instead it actually checked to see whether it is there. So as you can see, rest and spread kind of work like opposite of one another, but like they're still written the same way, which could be a bit confusing. I can see that. The main takeaway is that where you write those like dot 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 pretty much dictates whether that's going to be rest or spread. So whenever you type like dot 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 followed by a name when declaring a function, like here, you are using the rest. But whenever you are typing the dot 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 outside of that, like here or maybe like here, you're using the spread operator. I hope this wasn't too confusing. Maybe you would want to rewind this video and take a stab at it like multiple times, but like once you get the hang of it, like it's pretty cool feature and it allows you to do things like that. Okay, as always, hope you enjoyed this video, learned something new, and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.